Now in this lesson we're going to move on to the layer menu. So first we need to open a document. I mean, not a document, a picture. So let's grab the sunflower. And remember, a lot of these things that you're going to be able to accomplish the same thing over here in the layers palette by right-clicking over the layer. Notice layer properties, blending mode, duplicate layer, convert. A lot of those same things you're going to be able to do from up here. So we can create a new layer. We can create a background from that layer. You notice it's a regular layer, so do we want to convert it to a background, or vice versa? If that was a background, you'd see an option here to convert it to a layer. We can group the layers so that way you can modify them all at the same time. Layer properties, fairly simplistic there. Layer style. Well, let's take a look at some of the layer styles here. I know we've gotten into this a little bit before, but let's go into some. Now remember, we did a stroke that wasn't in layer styles. We're able to choose the opacity of the layer, advanced blending, and let me convert the size of this to see if that's why the scale, that's why the stroke didn't show. Yes, that's why the stroke didn't show. Because because it was, we need to see the canvas sum in order for the border, or as it's called, stroke, to show. So there it shows you in the layers palette that we have effects and it's a stroke. So now we could go back in there and change some things like the opacity of the layer itself. Okay, now here's the size of the stroke. See, now we're actually seeing this previewed to exactly, and this might work better for you than the other way we did the stroke before, because from here, as you adjust, you're able to see it in real time how big that layer is. And this time it's positioning itself outside of the constraints of the actual image. So that's why we weren't seeing it before. Remember, we could change it from outside to inside, the blending mode, the opacity of the layer. See, now it's very light, a little bit darker. Alright, so there's one thing we can do. Pattern overlay. Let's see what we got here. We have a lot of different patterns to choose from. Now, you notice how it overlaid a whole pattern over top here, but if we bring the opacity down and look at it,
the battery is low.
yeah, pardon that. Alright, the scale is another thing. You can see it better when it's the opacity's all the way up. But you're able to modify the overlay. But in this case, let's not do a pattern overlay. Let's try gradient overlay. Let's try something like that. Well, that's interesting. Almost looks like it's the sun is blocking it out. And this is kind of nice because this determines where the gradient, which is a blending of two colors, goes from right to left. Maybe this would be better if we actually started with a new document rather than an existing doc. Let's pull up a new one. Alright, now we'll add let's convert it to a layer, and now we could do a layer style from here, or remember we can do it from down here also. See? Let's go to gradient overlay like we had before, and here we can choose, see, and what this chooses is foreground to background, whatever colors I had over here. Oh, let me move it over so you can see it. So let's do that. Now you're able to see if we change the direction of the blend. And this is how much of a blend we want. You want it to be a stark contrast. See, with this, it's kind of neat. Oh, we can reverse it too. See, like that. Is how much do you want it to blend from one end area to another? See, it's a very short blend area here, and that's what scale is. Alright, let's do that just for fun. And color overlay. Let's not do the cover overlay right now. Let's grab the text tool, and we'll put some text in here. A test of wits is about us. I don't know where I came up with that, but there it is. Alright, now we go back to the move tool. I'll move this towards the center. I think it could be a little bigger, so I'll go back to the text tool. And let's move this up to 60. Maybe even 75. No, it's too big. 70. There we go. Oh, I didn't put us. That's okay. Alright. So now, you know, it created a new layer for the text, which is what it does. Now for that text layer, let's create a layer style. Let's do a drop shadow. Let's make the color dark red. You know what? Let's not do a drop shadow. Maybe just orange. Yeah, maybe that'll work. You see, it looks like this shadow. That's kind of cool. Alright. Drop shadow, opacity level. And we've already gone over some of what this means, distance, spread, all that, contour. Let's go into inner shadow. And just for the sake of us really seeing what this is doing, let's take the text and move it down here. That way we can just see it a little better. And let's make it bigger. There we go. That way we can just get a little better idea. Now you see the inner shadow a little better on the words. So let's go back into see, now we put an outer glow on it. And you can adjust the opacity and the fill capacity and all that from here. Inner glow, that's a little too much. Bevel and emboss, I love this feature. Makes it look three-dimensional. You can soften the embossment, adjust your shading, your shadows and highlights. Contour is interesting. And it gives you a miniature preview over here, and I like this texture box one because you can choose what you want as your texture. See, like so. Let's go back in there real quick. And sateen. I don't like the way that looks. And we've done color and gradient overlay. So there's a lot of different options within layer styles that we can experiment. We'll use them a little bit maybe later, but at least this gives you a clue what you can do with logos, letter styles, and layer effects. So remember, that's under layer, layer style. Any of those you pick, you can copy the layer style, put it on another layer. Yeah, hide the effects, scale the effects. And like I said, you can also do that from down here, the effect style. Layer style, I'm sorry, which are effects. So there's a little bit on layers so far.